that I will be thinking about if I were you. 5 questions. The first one is, how do you make the invisible visible? Things like energy are incredibly invisible, intangible things. People don't know what to do with it. How do I care about something I can't see? Right? Well, maybe you're not thinking or framing the problem in the right way. So we were asked by the Department of Energy in the US to help make energy tangible for people. Here's a film. So the first question I have for the team, you being the team, is this. How might we, that's what HMW stands for, how might we humanize and personalize the relationship that Singaporeans have with their energy? That's question 1. There are 4 more. You don't have to write them down, I'll give you the presentation. It's a guy here writing it all down, frantically writing. Number 2. This is a really interesting one. I hear again and again, I don't know where to start. When you put a big problem, climate change, oh my God, what do I do? I can't possibly have a difference. The entire world is so big, I can't get into it. So how do you create simple ways into complex issues? I want to show you a film that is from Japan. It's called Cool Biz. I'm going to Japan next week. I'm speaking in Fukushima, being a TED in Fukushima, so host there, 311. You know, big deal. So I'm very excited about that. But I love this. So this is the Cool Biz campaign that actually just brought back over the summer. So this is the first wave. You can see the second.
Summer of 2005, a fashion revolution occurred far from the walkways of Paris and Milan. It was a revolution whose social impact would rival the end of the corset. It was a revolution that liberated men from their neckties to help stop global warming.
Brilliant.
Our mission came from the Japanese government. Stir up and propel a national movement to roll back greenhouse gas emissions as stipulated in the Kyoto Protocol. Our plan, rephrase the environmental problem as a fashion problem and develop a promotional plan that would get the entire country motivated. To get rid of the necktie.
Brilliant. Great.
Wearing a necktie causes a man's sensory temperature to rise about 2 degrees Celsius.
As I can attest, by the way.
We therefore reasoned that office thermostats could be raised 2 degrees higher to 28 degrees Celsius. More comfortable, more stylish, cooler, and good for the environment. Called it Cool Biz.
Cool Biz has been going for 7 years now.
Japan's Minister of the Environment, Yuriko Koike, became the executive producer of the campaign and gave her full support in promoting Cool Biz to fight greenhouse gas emissions.
I presented
A
this.
massive media campaign was kicked off with the help of Japan's pop.
So, joking aside, I think that's one of my favorite examples. I presented that at a conference, and I said, what was everybody think? And this woman put her hand up and she said, that's the simplest solution to a complicated thing I've ever seen. Just take your tie off and I'm in the conversation. That's the line that I really like. I'm in the conversation. So they just relaunched. They did warm Biz over the winter as well. They turned the heating down and they asked guys to wear sweater vests, which was really lovely. So again, just the whole notion of kind of making something heavy, light, like climate change, I think is really interesting. So how can you design fun, innovative ways to change people's behaviour? Behaviour change is such a drag for most people. It's hard and they don't want to do it because it's difficult. So how do you make it fun and light and easy? That's the second point. The third one is how do you make people enjoy the journey as much as the destination? Because again, there is no destination any longer. We have to make people realise on a daily basis that whatever it is they're doing has some kind of impact. And that daily incremental has to matter as much as the long-term goal. So Fiat launched EcoDrive in Europe a couple of years ago. A colleague of ours actually did this. We hired him, having seen him do this, so he knows about it. This is EcoDrive from Fiat.
Claudia is driving to Fiat, which is where she works with Franco and Merv. To get to work, Claudia needs to drive through the countryside, which means lots of hills and bendy roads. Luckily, Claudia is driving her Fiat, which doesn't get in anyone's way, and is fitted with EcoDrive to help her lower her CO2 emissions. When she gets to work, Claudia unplugs the EcoDrive key from the Blue and Me port and then plugs it into her PC. So she can see how eco-friendly her journey has been, EcoDrive shows the carbon footprint of her last journey and a summary of CO2 emissions so far. Because EcoDrive looks at how you drive, it offers tips to help you improve and reduce your impact on the environment. Claudia drives through the countryside, so EcoDrive is suggesting that she reduces her speed when approaching a bend by braking gently rather than by changing gear. It also recommends that when she drives uphill, she should use the highest gear possible with almost full pressure on the accelerator. This will reduce engine wear and fuel consumption. Now let's look at what we call Eco-Index. An Eco-Index is the overall result of how efficiently you've driven your car, based on your driving ability and CO2 emissions. Claudia's Eco-Index is 81 out of a possible 100, which is very good indeed.
So again, you're rewarding people for positive, not berating them. I've got a 10 minutes thing, thank you. Not berating them for negative. And you're making every day's journey something that feels kind of generative and exciting. So again, how do you personalise daily impact that people can have on issues? What have I done today? What will I do tomorrow? How do I do tomorrow better than today? How do I have that journey? Number 4 is this notion of how do you take existing behaviours and build on them. I want to show you a case history of a project that we did. Bank of America came to us. This is Keep the Change that we did for Bank of America. Bank of America came to us and asked us this kind of boring, actually, client-y question. Can you develop a new path for revenue growth by tailoring products and services for boomer women with kids? Basically, can you help figure out some new ideas, right? So we went out and we talked to women with their families. And we're not big believers in focus groups. I don't honestly think that I've ever heard a single insightful thing behind a one-way mirror with fluorescent light at 7:15 at night, ever. So we firmly believe that alcohol and pizza are a very liberating way of getting insight from people. So we had dinner parties, we called them wine, W-I-N-E, and dine, and we just talked to people like they were people, right? And so we found a couple of things. One, for moms, the act of saving was very important. I'm a saver. When you said to people, how much do you save? They said, oh, I don't know. But I save. So there was an emotional connection to the idea of saving, but it wasn't really about the amount. That was kind of interesting. The second insight was based on this. This is a lady in California who was paying her Pacific gas and electric bill. She owed them $27.40, and she wrote them a check for $30. We said, oh, why are you doing that? She said, well, it's just easier, right? $30. We said, really? Is that it? For a few seconds she said, okay, well, they owe me money now. So there was a shift in power here. And suddenly she was in the driving seat. So we thought this was quite interesting. This idea of rounding up was something that we saw again and again. or rounding up, sliding sort of money to the side and kind of almost saving by accident. So we did 42 concepts based on this, and this is number 12. Go into a store and buy a cup of coffee for $1.50. Pay for it with your Keep the Change debit card. Bank of America rounds it off to $2. Bank of America transfers 50 cents from your checking to your savings account, matching 5% of the annual total, up to $250. So they just slide the money. It's like you take your change out of your pocket and stick it on the counter at the end of the night. We just turned that into a service. And here, in fact, is that service. We didn't do this communication design. It's horrible. But it tells the idea very clearly that it's a penny jar, right? Keep the Change was launched in 7 months. And here's the results. 12 million customers have saved $3 billion. 93% customer retention, 95% awareness in customer base. It's their most successful service ever. And again, back to big or small, this is kind of a small idea, right? Very big for them. Kind of based on looking at the ceiling, right? Sort of, this is what people were already doing. Prototyped very quickly, designed together, and out in the market generating value for it. Bang, bang, bang. So how do you do this? How do you create value for everybody? By changing behavior for people in ways that feel kind of normal. I don't want to suddenly have to turn into this eco person over here, when I'm just this normal person here. So how do you just help me slide my behavior from one place to the other? And finally, how do you shift people from passive into active yeah? Right? Here's the open idea for you.
For a while now, IDEO designers have been keen to put the best bits of the creative process online and invite everyone to join in. Open IDEO is a global community that will draw on your optimism, inspiration, ideas and opinions to solve problems together for the collective social good. Each challenge starts with a big question, something to get all of us thinking. Next comes the inspiration phase, in which we all post inspiring things that we've seen out there that might help us solve the big question. The more visual the posts, the better. Images, videos and stories will all help to get everyone going. After inspiring one another, it's time to flex our creative muscles in the concepting phase. How would you solve this problem? Post your solution and show everyone how you plan to make it a reality. If someone else's idea sparks something for you, you can build on it. Open IDEO was designed with this way of working in mind. This is where you get to collaborate with other people and when the magic really happens. Once concepts are fully formed, they're put through the evaluation phase. This process is exactly as it sounds. You rate and comment on the concepts that you believe will best solve the problem, according to the given criteria. The concepts that rise to the top in the evaluation phase win, with the winning idea being available for development by the challenge sponsor. Your participation in each phase, plus how much you've collaborated with others, all add up to your design quotient, or DQ for short, which you can choose to publicise or keep private. It offers you feedback and recognition. And because we're all good at different parts of the creative process, we'll all have slightly different DQs. Just like in all good brainstorming sessions,
Let's turn the volume down for a second. We're seeing this incredible, it's a little like seller's points on eBay, right, where you've got this kind of rating system. We're seeing people really discussing the whole DQ thing with one another, so it's becoming this really interesting currency. So that's Open IDEO.
takes you through the creative process.
So, kind of how do you do that? I think it's an obvious, and again, just from our own work here, we're seeing Singaporeans are desperate to connect and communicate and to create. So how do you turn people from considering to create? So just the last couple of thoughts before I sit down. Final thought on design thinking is this, which is there's a reason why the word design is in there, and I hope that this presentation is kind of enlightened you on that. It isn't a process. It isn't something that is on a whiteboard. It isn't something that is kind of Six Sigma-y in its kind of complexity. It is just actually very straightforward, and it is design. So it's not a thinking process. It's a designed